everybody. On this video I'm going to go over the integumentary system, which is this structure, this object right here, this model. Okay. Integumentary system is an organ system. Structures that will make it an organ system like has blood vessels, lymphatic vessels, it's got sweat glands, oil glands, wax glands. It also has sensory structures. Okay. It also has muscles that connect to the hair follicle, and it has all different types of tissues as well. Okay, so that's what makes it an organ system. It's the most visible organ system in our body because it's located outside. It protects us from abrasion. It minimizes water loss, evaporating water loss. It also allows us to detect our external environment, like pressing a baby's head, testing bath water, feeling a granite rock. So our integumentary system can do quite a few different things. All right. Okay, let's go on to some of the structures here on this model. The integumentary system is made up of two layers. We have the epidermis and we have the dermis. It is not 3 layers, it's 2 layers. On this particular model, we have 3 different regions. Here we have the hands and feet. Here we have the armpit and genitalia. And here we have the hairy scalp. In the hands and feet, we'll have 5 layers in the epidermis. And in the rest of the body, we'll only have 4 layers. To help you memorize, you can use the mnemonic, can little girl skate backwards? Stratum corneum, stratum lucidum, stratum granulosum, stratum spinosum, and stratum basale. So let's go into a little bit of each of these layers within that epidermis. The stratum basale is the stem cell layer. Stratum basale also has melanocytes. Melanocytes produce a pigment called melanin, which helps protect us from UV light. Okay. Too much UV light will cause the stratum basale to produce too much melanin, and in some parts of your body you can create something called brown spots. As you can see on my eye here, it's something that just came about 4 years ago. Okay, so our next layer is going to be the stratum spinosum. Stratum spinosum is the daughter cells of the stem cell layers of the stratum basale. And the stratum spinosum, when the tissue is being prepared, the cell kind of shrinks a little bit, but you kind of see the connections between the two, which is called desmosomes. You'll still see the connection between the two. It looks like a spine, so that's why they call it stratum spinosum. All right, now we have the stratum granulosum, okay, which is this next layer here. Okay, stratum granulosum. And you see a little bit of black dots here. So the stratum granulosum is going to produce keratin and keratohyalin, okay? And that's going to give us that waterproofing, or on nails and hair, makes them really strong, less brittle. Okay, so that's the stratum granulosum. All right, let's go now to the stratum lucidum. The stratum lucidum is basically, it's only located in the hands and feet, all right? And at that point, the organelles are pretty much disappeared inside the stratum lucidum, and you just have like this cell of liquid. That's why it kind of looks lucid, because it just looks like you're looking through a balloon of water. And at this point, the cells are about to die off. Okay, and now the cells are kind of like on top of each other, like a bunch of cars that have been flattened at a junkyard, stacked up on top of each other. And the stratum corneum, let's see what it says here, is the most superficial layer of the epidermis and contains many layers of flattened dead cells. As cells from the stratum granulosum migrate superficially, keratohyalin granules are converted to the fibrous protein keratin. Cells in the stratum corneum also accumulate the yellow-orange pigment keratin, which is common in light-skinned individuals. All right, so those are the layers of the epidermis, quite a few different things. I mean, just to give you an overall view of it, it's just the epidermis. Stratum basale is the mother layer. The mother produces daughter cells. The daughter cells specialize. They start dying off, and then they die, and then they just explode. Okay, so let's go now next to the dermis. All right, so here the dermis, we're going to have 2 types of layers. We're going to have the papillary layer and the reticular layer. So the papillary, we're going to have, it consists of areolar tissue containing numerous collagen and elastic fibers. Okay? So you can be able to stretch with skin like this. Okay? And when you get old and your grandparents get really old, the skin can slide off. It's just, it loses elasticity. That's the papillary layer. The reticular layer is distinguished by a meshwork of thick bands of collagen fibers in dense, irregular connective tissue. Hair follicles and glands from the epidermis penetrate deep into the reticular layer. Sensory receptors in this layer are called lamellated corpuscles. What you see here, lamellated corpuscle, it's supposed to be in the reticular layer, but the model didn't do a good job depicting that. Okay, but you get the idea. We have sweat glands, or what we call sudoriferous glands. They're scattered throughout most of the dermis of most of the integumentary system. They are exocrine cells that secrete their liquid either into sweat ducts, leading to the skin surface, or into sweat ducts leading to hair follicles. So there's two types of sweat glands. There's ones that lead directly to the surface of the skin, which these are called eccrine sweat glands, which help cool the body, cool the skin. And then you have the apocrine sweat glands that lead their ducts into the hair follicle. Again, one more mistake this model has. All right, now here we have the sebaceous gland. It produces sebum, so it prevents the hair from being brittle and prevents your skin from being too dry. Too much of it makes you too oily. Okay, here's the erector pili muscle that erects the hair follicle. In some animals, they use it for intimidation, and another function of it is just to keep you warm. All right, let's look at the hair follicle. You have the bulb, the root, and the shaft. Bulb, root, shaft. Here you have the hair papilla. Okay. The Meissner corpuscles, or the tactile corpuscles, for light touch, so you can feel like the wind on your body or an ant walking on your skin. And then the lamellated corpuscles for deep touch, so you can feel like a needle coming down deep into your skin, and that'll detect it. Okay. And finally here, the hypodermis, which is not part of the dermis. It's hypo, it's below it. And you'll see a bunch of fat, adipocytes and fat. Okay. Like how my teacher Anderson used to say, if you can get a raincoat that will protect you, that will prevent you from getting wet, and it'll last you a lifetime, would you buy it? I'd say yeah. Well, we do. It protects us our whole life. Well, hope you liked this video. Hope you learned a few things here and there about our skin and all the characteristics of this beautiful organ system. That's it. I guess I will check you out on the next video. Take care. Goodbye.